A whole lot of Hispanic people is wanting black people to stand up for them for these ICE raids. And a lot of black people is getting online saying they're not going to do that, okay? Because of y'all vote for Trump. Now, understand that a lot of these people that's talking about it lives in South Florida. I live in, I don't know what part of Florida this is, but I stay near the airport. Anyway, all I know is that if we never stand together, we're always going to be separated. I know that you don't want to risk your life for them. I get that. But at the same time, would y'all risk your life for us? We gotta ask that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it can go vice versa. But if we always, you know what I'm saying, never stand up for nobody, never be there for them, it's never going to be a time in history where we're actually standing all together.
What is she talking about? I'm lost on this person. Like, is she saying that we should stand up for the illegals? Maybe she's saying that. I have no idea. This lady is belligerent. But yeah, I'm gonna just tell you like this. If it was the other way around, a lot of black people feel like standing up for a person or a group is how you treat them every day. All right? And a lot of folks in the black community, especially me, I'm from Cali. That's not how African Americans in Cali feel when it comes to Mexicans, all right? Or Hispanics people. They don't rock with us like that. Now, Northern California is a little bit different than Southern California, but there's no reciprocity there. So that's why African Americans or hashtag FBA is like, nah, this is their situation.
I just want to make this video real quick. 2 black people who will watch this video, please do not be moved by other black people with platforms getting on TikTok telling y'all to unify with Latinas. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, we have fought the good fight. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't for our people, they wouldn't even be here. They would not. At the end of the day, they're strong. They got this. Every time they had the energy to say the N-word, you and black people tell them like, hey, no, I'm good. They still want to do it. Anytime that they're being racist and making all type of hateful jokes, mm-hmm. Who cares? Whatever. Like, they're strong. They got this. They don't need our help.
And that's a good point. Like, Latinos are strong. Remember, like John Leguizamo, they built this country. Again, there's certain evidences of Latinos in Houston Community College situation where they are literally firing or demoting black staff that have been in senior positions, but at the same time elevating Hispanic staff. And then you have that discrimination. A Nigerian brother, I did a video about him. He exposed the fact that Hispanics were telling him, hey, listen, you're an African, you're not an African American. Get rid of the African Americans that work for you and hire some Latinos.
What?
This is not all Latinos, but we do know that this sort of thing happens. And so when that sort of thing happens, they're letting you know already that they are strong and they don't need your help, right? Because even though there's going to be some good ones, they'll take the help and then basically snitch on you. We see them do it in the prisons. The blacks stay on code and don't do no snitching, but the Latino will snitch on the black. So at one point, do you start understanding that the game is not always fair? You got to stick up for your group.
And on top of that too, like, stop trying, for y'all black people who keep saying unify with them, like, stop trying to get black people out of their own comfort of their home. Like, black people, focus on us. Like, We are done focusing on everybody else's problems. Like, we got our own problems within our own communities. Like, let's focus on our own people. Stop trying to get black people out there on the forefront. Like, stop doing that. Stop doing that. We are God's chosen people. And at the end of the day, if the Lord ain't telling us to move, we is not being moved. Our 400 years of suffering, of enslavement, of punishment, it's over. That's exactly why this country is going downhill. The white man's kingdom is coming to an end. And for all of the other nations who have shitted on black people, you will have to pay for what you done to God's chosen people.
All right, what is up, YSG? And I'd like to say just a reminder to black folks in LA or just any place in America that, Latinos getting deported back to, Mexico and ICE picking them up is not our problem.
Right.
This is not our fight. This is their fight.
Right.
Remember, according to Latinos, that we're lazy and they work harder than us. If that's the case, then they should not need us for any reason whatsoever. This is not our problem. Same with any immigrant group in America that's getting deported by ICE. That's not our problem. We don't need to help these people. Remember, according to them, we're lazy and they work harder than us. Mm-hmm. I'm just going off what they said. Why would you ask a bunch of people you consider lazy for help? They don't need our help. Right. We don't need to help them. This is their fight, their problem. What we need to do is continue minding our black business and staying out of other people's business. This is mind our black business. And once again, immigration laws do not apply to black Americans, only black immigrants and other immigrant groups. Trump quite literally told these that in their face when he said the 14th Amendment was only for the children of the slaves. Literally told you in y'all face that immigration laws do not apply to black Americans. We don't have to worry about ICE. We don't got to worry about getting deported. It only applies to black immigrants and other immigrants.
Again, I understand that some of the stuff that's happening to people is unfair. However, okay, we got to look at your community. How does it help us? All right. And this is the thing that black people, other groups put themselves first. Dr. Claude Anderson talked to us about this in 1995 or 1996, that immigrants would be over in America eating black folks' lunch. He tried to tell black people this. I didn't know of him at the time, but it's documented and we didn't listen. Black people are so busy standing up for every other rights, gay rights, rights of other groups, Palestine or Israel. And it's okay to stand up for whatever you think is right, but it takes precedence over what happens in your own community. So your own community is not being developed. The Hispanics got businesses. The Hispanics have voting pool, voting blocks. They have all those things. But the African Americans, that infrastructure for your economic purposes, your family purposes is broken. And so what happens is that when you put your energy into other people's stuff that have a more solid foundation than you do, you are the one that loses out. Okay? Because they're going to be okay.
They be gaslighting black people when they talk about we. Because where's the we at when it comes to hiring?
Yep.
When it first started, that ICE raid in Los Angeles at Amiant Apparel, Hispanics, Mexicans said that they found community there. But in that community, it was no we. It was Hispanics in community with other Hispanics. Mm-hmm. Me no French, no we, no we. When they did that ICE raid in Florida at the construction site, where was the we at? It was just a community of Latinos. They only use we when they want to use black Americans as a human shield. Mm-hmm. No different than Nino Brown. But when it comes to opportunity, when it comes to actually breaking bread, ain't no we. It's just Hispanics in community with other Hispanics.
Right.
In Los Angeles, in Southern California, you could tell, you could see it.
Yep.
You could see it. Ain't no we.
Yep.
And they quick to come in there and push you out of those positions to put their family members in.
Right.
So don't use we when it's only convenient for you and using black Americans as a shield.
This is important, like I just talked about. His brother also talked about the feuds that happened in LA between Mexicans and blacks. You had, at certain points, African Americans moving into, let's say, East LA or whatever, and they were not welcome. Some people, their homes were burned and they were beat down and jumped, and there was a lot of violence towards, but innocent blacks, okay, moving into what was known as Hispanic neighborhoods. So again, when it's breaking bread, when it's supporting, it's a one-way street. It's about putting their people on, okay? And people remember that. And that is why African Americans, #FBA, all blacks, we gotta be concerned about putting our people on. That's not a diss to them because this is what they've been doing, All immigrant groups are gonna look out for themselves. It's not gonna matter to them that, historically your folks did this in the community, or historically your folks did that. That does not matter, family. If you don't have the mind to look at your own people and put them first, you're gonna be down bad. Absolutely.
Real shit, y'all finna piss me off. It grinds my gears when I get on this internet and I see black people during these ICE raids talk about y'all, we need to mind our business. This ain't got nothing to do with us. Black people, let's go have a cookout. Black people, let's go do this. This ain't got, what the do you mean this ain't got nothing to do with us? It is single-handedly stripping people away from their motherfucking families. You don't even know when you're gonna see your children again. And y'all talk about something, this has nothing to do with us. These are human beings. These are people at the end of the motherfucking day. My thing is, how the...
Sir, I live in a foreign country, Uganda, okay? Let's make it if I lived in Poland. If Poland had ICE and I was there legally, let's say illegally, I had a wife there, a kid there, do you think that Polish people would be saying something similar? Like, oh, well, they're people at the end of the day. You might get that from every now and then, but no. They're gonna look at the person as, this person is taking opportunities away from us in Poland or whatever country, even here in Uganda. They are using resources. They're not contributing in any meaningful way. They're probably getting stipends from the government. Okay, this is what they're gonna look at it like as. They're taking up space. They don't need to be here. It's probably costing the government a certain amount of money for them to stay here. They're not starting businesses here. They're a liability. Get them and their kids out of there. See, he don't look at the other way around. If we were stuck in somebody else's country, how would their government look at it? See, United States is so used to taking everybody in and all that other stuff. And I get what he's saying. It's, it's humanity and all that. But that person, once they become citizens, they're going to look to replace him who's extending the hand to help somebody else. He doesn't understand or get that.
The motherfucking day. My thing is, how the do y'all think that y'all safe? As black people, how the do y'all think that y'all safe? Y'all don't think that y'all don't think that we next? Y'all don't think that?
No, they are safe, because if they would have deported you a long time ago, they would have done that, but they can't. So this is like a fear mongering thing, like, oh, you next. We already been next. That's the whole point. Now they are next. That's the issue. So the blacks were next. Now the Hispanics and other immigrants, now they're focusing on them now. The system is focusing on them, especially the Hispanics, because their numbers are getting too high. And I think some of the Caucasians are threatened by that. This is fear-mongering tactics with no proof.
Y'all don't think that we next? This motherfucker is literally having Native Americans detained at ICE. Native Americans. Where the are you gonna deport Native Americans to? Y'all not rich and y'all not white. You are not above the motherfucking program. I don't know why the y'all sitting up here talking about something this ain't got nothing to do with us. This ain't our business. We are next. We are next. This man was...
Anybody got any information on Native Americans getting deported by ICE? If you do, please drop that or send it to me on the Team Kinganda. Brother's energy is a little bit too...
Should I call you Mister?
Too funny style for me. But anyways, I see all the possible arguments and all of that. I get what people are saying, but ultimately I know how immigrants look at certain things because I'm an immigrant. I'm pro-black and pan-African, but when I lived in Poland and Uganda, when you're living in somebody else's country, you're thinking about survival. You're thinking about what you need to do. It's very easy to not be concerned, and I'm just talking about it in my normal way, of worried about Uganda's problems. This is just if I wasn't pan-African, right? If I wasn't here on a mission, it would be very easy for me if I was just living and working here to not care about what opportunities I'm taking from somebody else. If I'm not thinking with a pan-African or pro-black mind, I would just be thinking about myself and what I need to do for my family, and it wouldn't matter about what a Polish person or Ugandan person or whatever. So that's how an immigrant would think. They're looking out for themselves. A Ugandan could be welcoming me if I was Chinese or whatever. To them, they're welcoming me. But I'm not caring about the fact that they're welcoming me if I don't have the right mindset. And the person that I'm welcoming me, I want my kids to do better than you in your own country if I'm not using my own mindset. But he don't understand that. That's how it works. If they can use that for an advantage over you, they'll use it. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Fair Use. I'm out.